I have just left the beautiful town of Valoir in Savoy region in France, and I started climbing. Today I'm going to do what is probably the most beautiful cycling climb in the world, Col du Galibier. So this might not be technically the start of the climb, but it is coming very soon, and the climber function on my GPS unit already kicked in, and here you can see already Col du Galibier, 14 kilometers at 8%. This is going to be tough, guys. So this right here is the gate that stops cars and cyclists and even pedestrians from going to Galibier. If it's snowy, there's a lot of snow, the pass is closed, and the gate is there to prevent people from getting into unfortunate situations. I'm hoping you will be able to see that, but take a look at that valley. Isn't this gorgeous? Galibier is one of the most important climbs in Tour de France, and as such it's featured in almost each year's edition of the most famous Grand Tour. There are actually two reasons for that. First, its position. It's sort of in the middle of the most important climbs for Tour de France route, and as such connects other important climbs like Col du Telegraphe, Col du Madeleine, Col du Croix de Fer, Col du Granon. And so if you want to plan a long route in this region, Col du Galibier needs to be almost always featured. The second reason is its difficulty. It's almost 15 kilometers long with average gradient of 8%, and with those stats it's classified as an horse category climb, but it's also very high altitude. The summit of the climb is at 2,600 meters above sea level. But there is one more layer of the difficulty besides the climb's difficulty itself, and that you cannot access this climb without going through other climbs. So you either need to do Col du Telegraphe from one side or Col de l'Autorette from the other side, which means that the riders arriving on this climb are already tired from another pretty hard climbs. And if you take those things into consideration, it explains why Col du Galibier is often quite deciding in terms of general classification standings in Tour de France. That was the case in 2022 when Primož Roglič, together with Jonas Vingegaard, broke Tadej Pogačar first on Col du Telegraphe and then on Col du Galibier from this side, and finally broke him on Col du Granon. And also in this year's edition of Tour de France 2024, Tadej Pogačar attacked 1 kilometer from the summit and gained 7 seconds to Jonas Vingegaard, and then another 45 or something in the descent. This is the side from Col du Telegraphe, which is considered to be the more difficult side, and it is also the side where we've seen the crazy descending performances in the last years, namely the one from Tom Pidcock, but also this year's descent from Tadej Pogačar, which gained him a lot of advantage in the general classification. I've got about 5.5 km to go, and take a look at this. This is so epic. It's almost like CGI. About 4K to go. I can already feel the air being thinner. My legs are burning and I've got harder breathing. even though I'm not going in any crazy effort. And it's also way colder here than it was on the bottom, which I don't mind. It's actually quite nice. There are some very mean looking clouds, as you can see. Hopefully it will stay only with the looks. I would hate to be caught by a rain or even worse, storm here. There is the sign, 4K to go. Oh my god, there are cowsies here. Hi! Well, it started raining around now, so that's going to be fun descent. I'm not very experienced descender, even on dry roads, and this is one of the most technical descents in the world, and in the rain. Perfect. 1K to go. Here's the famous tunnel and the most steep section of the Col du Galibier, but also the sweet finish. This is the view you get if you are willing to cycle hard enough. 500 meters to go. Let's do it with me, guys. Also, there has been a thunder a few seconds ago, so I'm a little scared. I'll finish this, take a picture at the top, and go back as fast as possible. But there is the top already. I can see the cyclist over there. Okay guys, hope you enjoyed this. If you did, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in one of the next videos. Ciao.